Hey guys, today I'm having a go at my very first PC video card repair. Now, video cards, well, they are much harder to work with compared to these soldering kits that you can buy online. They have massive ground planes acting sort of as heat sinks, sucking away heat and making soldering and desoldering a real nightmare. What we have today here is an ATI Radeon 9550 with 128 megabytes of VRAM for the good old AGP interface. This is what video cards used before PCI Express. We can see there are two capacitors that are blown, and there's a third one which seems to look fine, but they're all from the same type. I found a datasheet of the capacitors. They are from United Chemicon, the KZG series. Look at that, ultra low impedance at 10 volts and 1000 microfarad. There are two options depending on the packaging. We've got 10 by 12.5. We've got a very low ESR of only 26 milliamps, and the ripple current is also very high, 1.54 amps. Finding an electrolytic capacitor with such low ESR can be quite tricky, but also expensive. So I'm going with a more modern polymer cap. They are much better in terms of performance, having lower ESR, and we're gonna pick a lower capacity. Let's go with 470 microfarad. That should do the trick. The card is quite dirty, so before we continue, we definitely have to do some cleaning. I'm removing the heatsink with a pen. This is a nice little trick that I picked up to deal with these spring-loaded push pins. I can see there's a lot of dust going on inside the cooling and also around the PCB, so I'm using a soft brush to clear everything out. Now, because I don't know if this repair will be super successful, I'm not gonna do a super deep clean, but it will end up looking much nicer than what we had before. I can see from the outside that the cooler has a lot of dirt and gunk inside, so I definitely want to take it apart. I'm using my Xiaomi precision screwdriver set. It's really nice with magnetic tips. Well, I want to preserve this cooler. It looks really nice with gold painting, and oh my gosh, there's so much dirt in here between the cooling fins, in the corners. The fan also needs to go. There are 3 screws that secure it, and then I'm cleaning each individual fin. And again, not a super deep clean, but it looks much nicer than what we had before. To service the fan, I'm peeling back the sticker, and then I'm doing 2 drops of lubrication in there, spin the fan around a little bit, and yeah, it's already working much smoother. And later, the fan noise is actually really good. I was quite impressed. Desoldering of the capacitors is next. This is the hardest part. Because it's so tricky, today I'm using a preheater that I recently purchased. It's the 8280 PCB preheater from a company called Puhui. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm setting the temperature to 150 degrees Celsius, and the idea is it's gonna heat up the entire board, raise the temperature, and making desoldering and soldering much easier. I don't have a vacuum powered desoldering station just yet. I'm using a basic 30-watt manual desoldering sucker, and it works well enough. The camera angle really isn't good because the sucker is too long and it's touching the microscope, so I did this sort of off camera. It's also my first time working with this preheater, so it's a little bit awkward, but all in all, the capacitors came out just fine. The mount on the preheater, I'm really not happy with it. It's quite flimsy. It is securely attached to the whole device, so I think I will buy some clamps to lock things in place the next time. And now we're gonna solder in the replacement caps. 10 volts, 470 microfarads polymer caps. They insert quite easily, but be warned, the legs on the polycaps are a little bit thicker, so you really need to clean out those holes quite well. My soldering iron, it's from Fnersi, it's the DWS 200, up to 200 watts of power. I'm using a large D-type tip in order to transfer enough heat. We are going with 380 degrees Celsius today, and that seemed to be working much better. Either way, I got them all soldered in, and then I'm turning off the PCB preheater and I'm letting everything cool down. I'm giving the GPU die a little bit of a clean. IPA doesn't really do too much, so I'm trying the Mechanic 850 Pro PCB cleaner that I purchased, and that works much better. But be careful, don't use this on other parts like the heatsink, it will strip off the paint. I'm also cleaning the heatsink with IPA, and then it's time to assemble the cooler again. The cable goes out on the left side, and I'm screwing the cover back onto the heatsink. There you go, it's looking much nicer. Let's give the card some fresh thermal paste, push in those spring-loaded push pins, plug in the fan, and there you go, ready for some testing. The test system today is an Athlon 64. The video card, I was really happy, it fired up straight away. So far everything is looking good, but when trying to install Windows I ran into some issues. Under Windows XP I can see, well, there's a bit of flickering or some horizontal patches going on, and Windows XP just kept rebooting after a certain point. Well, I'm trying a different operating system. Here we've got Windows ME. Everything is looking fine. It installed no dramas, but after I install the GPU drivers and doing a reboot, the machine locks up. And I'm also noticing that the DVI out of the video card doesn't work. Putting the video card under the microscope for a second time, I can see there's at least one component that's actually broken off. So maybe there is more wrong with this video card. It's really hard to say because I'm not sure if it's the polymod that didn't work well. Also, I didn't do a smoke test. I didn't try the video card with the faulty cap. So that's something I definitely want to do in the future. I want to see at least some sort of life before investing money in buying replacement capacitors, and time also, of course. So yeah, I'm a little bit gutted, but I'm not giving up. This one goes into a drawer. Well, I want to hear from you guys first before I continue and maybe make things even worse. In terms of the equipment I've used, well, very happy with the solder station. I've been using that one for quite some time. I bought a few other tips with different shapes as well. You can really buy a whole assortment of all sorts of tips if you're interested. And the PCB preheater, that's a very nifty tool. It's only my first time using it. The mount, I'm not really happy with that, so I will do some modding on that one. But the desoldering process and also the soldering worked much easier once the board is heated up a little bit. I can't wait to buy a proper desoldering vacuum pump because, well, desoldering capacitors, that is part of repairing old computer parts. And also fixing or lubricating the fan, that worked well. Although the video card didn't end up working, the fan noise that it outputs, it's really pleasant. So guys, I'm afraid not the outcome I was hoping for. So, well, it is what it is. And that's the idea of this channel, documenting my progress, the good and the bad. And definitely I feel like more experience under my belt and I'm going to be a lot more confident doing the next one. I can't wait to read your comments, and that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you soon with another one.